So we are coming to the final session. As Michael said, all we need is love. So we are coming to the section of special poetry, a cinema haiku, one haiku per slide. So we will start tonight with Janeta HENZELE, please.
Hello, and greetings from Riga, Latvia, the neighbors right here, and the cinema Kino Bize, which is located right in the heart of a historical Art Nouveau center. And we also share the street with two other cinemas, but we are in fact the smallest cinema in the city as well as the country, which lets us focus on a very personal experience, as I hope you will see. When Kino Bize first was founded, it was a part of a cultural center / bar, and it was in 2012. And I'm showing this picture because you can see a braid there, which is the actual meaning of the word Bize. So it kind of ties into our philosophy of weaving and tying people and films and ideas together. So in 2015, it moved to a new location, but it wasn't a cinema. So here, Maris, the founder, he rented an apartment and turned the living room and the bedroom in the cinema hall, as well as the kitchen, into a bar. So the rest is what you see today. After 8 months of really hard work, Kino Bize finally opened its doors to the spectators, and I would say that it's still a cinema with the warmth of the home because it is in this apartment. And this picture, don't let it deceive you because we do actually have digital projector, of course. And in the next picture, you will see what Kino Bize looks from outside today. The cafe was a part of a community project using recycled materials to keep the costs as low as possible because there was no other chance. So building sustainably wasn't that trendy maybe back then, but it was the only option. And in return, it did give the space a little bit of a character. So here's a closer look into the bar area. Everything you see, almost everything, is repurposed. For example, the bar is made from old wooden walls, and as well as the shelves you see, and the framings, and even the glassware, which is borrowed from a grandmother. And this is our team. There are 5 of us, and in most days, there's just one person operating the projector, making drinks, selling tickets. Here you can see we like to switch our roles a little bit, if you can recognize which characters we are imitating. And these costumes and other shenanigans are a part of our annual anniversary celebrations. So each year we pick a director and dedicate a week to their work. This year we're celebrating with Wim Wenders, and Kino Bize turns 12 next week, actually. So I would say we're entering this teenage rebellion phase. And we also create some merch for these events. We collaborate with artists, and originally they were souvenirs for our anniversaries, but now they're our daily thing that we sell and also ship worldwide. So it's really amazing to acknowledge that people are walking with our shirts in Vilnius, in New York, and other cities. So as most of you, it's really important for us to connect with the younger audiences. So we do family screenings, we do workshops, which are very messy, and to be honest, we always find some glue or I don't know, pearls in our velvet chairs, which is okay because it's still rewarding. And for older kids, we have the Antoine Douanel Film School with juniors that engage in practical activities, and teens and adults who go to lectures, film theory lectures, and we host screenings for them as well, sometimes picnics. There's 140 students at the moment. Sometimes we take the cinema education on the road as well. So as a part of a grant program, we had more than 500 teachers listening to online film education classes, as well as we visited schools across the country and led some filmmaking and film theory workshops. And in the end, they were shown in a film festival for the kids. Speaking of festivals, we have our own documentary film festival, which is organized together with an anthropology association with masterclasses, workshops, etc. And importantly, also an after party that happens in a sauna, because we do live in the Baltic states after all. And if you're interested, you can visit us in April. With our tiny space, we do have to think creatively, as most of you, and we collaborate with musicians, artists, and it's a great way how to bring the new audience in, and also really fun for ourselves. So I think there are these small moments of connecting with the audience, which happens not only because we're very small, but because we don't have an office. So we spend a lot of time in the cafe, working until late hours, and then the customers come in, and then we chat, then we do the substance shots together, of course, very respectful of the balance, but yeah, we do quizzes with the audience, and in return, we also get some presents from kids. Last month, we did a Baltic cinema data training thanks to the Europa Cinemas Bootcamps initiative. That was also a very rewarding event and really necessary for us to gather together into one room and yeah, looking at how the Baltic collaboration is with the railroad that cannot be made, I think there is a big potential in the cultural sector. So during COVID, we also launched a VOD platform to keep the cinema alive at home. It is still active, mostly in the summertime, and yeah, we take a break in the summertime, and it's a good way how to stay connected with the audience. And in fact, since 2013, we also became film distributors. We release 1 or 2 titles in a year, so it's a very small operation, but it does let us showcase films we do believe in and expand our scope of activities. And whenever it's possible, we try to take the cinema outdoors. We don't have a garden, but we have done film screenings in a tent in the biggest music festival in Latvia, which happened in a pine trees next to the beach. And yes, just film festival and screenings in other picturesque towns. Finally, this is, I guess, what we're all about, laid-back, welcoming space where people can connect and feel like home. So thank you for letting me share, and I hope you'll visit us someday.
Thank you. It gives totally other meaning to home movies term. So that was great. And next up is Marco Fortunato from Cinemazero.
Hi, everyone. First of all, I want to say thank you to Europa Cinema for this great opportunity and also for having invented this very challenging format, which allows me to cheat. So I'm going to take my speech in Italian. Also because la storia di Cinemazero non è solo la storia di un cinema, è la storia in qualche maniera di un luogo che vuole diventare un riferimento per una comunità, un vero e proprio centro culturale.
This is a cinema that wants to become a cultural place. Cinemazero is in Pordenone, a small city in the northeast near Venice, maybe a small town that you know better. But everything started in the late 70s when a group of enthusiasts decided to create this association that started from zero. Zero budget, zero experience, hardly, almost only passion we wanted to change. Back then, we already had 5 cinemas in Pordenone, but they were all showing the same movies. And so this desire to change helped us really change, whereas the other screens in the city declined. But our cinema grew, and we've organized a number of initiatives. Now we have 4 screens, on average 100,000 tickets a year, 150 different movies, most of them European, of course, and over 4,000 screenings a year. So, of course, a lot of things happen in our venue, but our venue is not the only part of the project, because there are a lot of things that happen outside of the cinema. Cinemazero has a media library that offers an iconographic collection of Pasolini's movies. We're also part of Tucker Films, the distribution companies that distributed Drive My Car last year. All that thanks to the 12 people on our staff where we took a picture. Well, there are more people here. There were only 12 of us, but we were having a drink, so there were more people here. Most of them are women. The average age is 40. What is our mission? What's our ethos to talk not just about what we're doing, but how we are doing it and how we want to do it. We want life to be a movie, so we need to be actors, protagonists. We need to know our values. We selected 3. The first is sustainability. Sustainability means that we have concrete actions and investment that we made in our infrastructure, but ourselves, we made a commitment vis-a-vis the audience. So we've created our Green Manifesto with best practices that we are committed to following vis-a-vis the audience. Second element, second value, inclusiveness. This is something we care strongly about. Here we have an inclusiveness manifesto for respect as well, and we are committed. We stand by it. It's an essential element to protect diversity and innovation, of course. Innovation, accept risk, challenge ourselves, call ourselves into question, experiment, and in the specific case of our business, do contamination. Here you can see a silent movie with an orchestra that was set up called Orchestra Zero at Cinemazero. None of that would make any sense if we were not able to disseminate that within our community. So we're trying to use all possible opportunities. We have a lot of guests, and we're asking them to support our message. Why are we doing that? Because we want for our movie, the movie of our lives, to always be showing. So we need young people, especially very young people, because you all know what the issue is. This is something that we asked ourselves for a long time to try and make it a reality. So we decided to split the young audience into 2 segments. The very young audience from 0 to 15, we have initiatives for media training for them, and so that they know more about the audiovisual language. And we also help them familiarize themselves with the venue. We bring them to the cinema. And then we've got the Young Club, which is for young people between 15 and 25, and we're asking them to make a commitment. They're involved in the programming of their cinema. They are part of the jury of our festival, and they are involved in laboratories that are going to grow. Thanks to young people, we had strong impetus to invest in a part where we were not very present because we were busy with other projects. So new spaces. Cinemazero was a small space that was always packed full, so we decided to make 2 major investments that were quite heavy in terms of resources and time. So the Modotti room, that was the 4th room that we created in 2017. It was very important for programming, but maybe the quality of vision was not so good, and so thanks to them, we create the new Modotti screen. We changed everything. It's smaller, but more comfortable and also nicer aesthetically, in order to try and add value to the cinematic experience that needs to be something nice and comfortable. Always thanks to our drive for change, which is the basis for our venue. We try to get outside of our venue, look around, and we saw how ugly this square was where we have our cinema. There was a car park used by a limited number of people. So we wanted it to become a community space again. So this is our project that we're currently working on. It will be ready in a while. It will be a multifunctional place, an extended foyer that goes out of the cinema all the way into the city, and we want for our community to meet there and meet us, to experience cinema not just as a place for culture but also a social place. I'm told that this is the end for me. Come and see us if you want to know more and be there for the inauguration. Thank you. We'll be there.
Thank you, Mark. That was great, but a bit of unloyal competition, because talking in Italian, you managed to say twice as much. So please, when you keep getting your scores, be aware of that. Ryan Keating and Jaroslava KOLIBAČOVÁ are next. Please.
Okay, hello everyone. I'm Ryan and this is Jaroslava and we're from Edison Filmhub in Prague in the Czech Republic. I, however, am not from the Czech Republic. I'm originally from Australia, but I promise I do work in this Czech cinema. I'm not just here eating your delicious food. So our story so far. So we're going to be talking a lot about our cinema and our way of programming and what's been successful for us. So that means festivals, film nights, special events, our collaborations, parties, and our amazing merchandise, of course. We're always thinking about new exciting events and ways to get people into the cinema. Edison Filmhub has been around for about 5 years. The building was originally an old electrical station in the center of Prague's beautiful Old Town. That timer is really intimidating. We have a cafe and one cinema hall with 75 seats and 6 people in our main team. 90% of our films are screened with both English and Czech subtitles. And yes, thank you. And we're also dog friendly. Our cinema is owned by Film Europe, a distribution company and VOD platform in the Czech Republic and Slovakia. We buy films from Europe's big festivals, so Cannes, Berlinale, Venice, and more. And we screen them in events-based programming and festivals. We also aim to bring context to film through our events, so discussions with critics, scholars, and Q&As with directors and actors. These are either in person or online on Zoom. The pandemic obviously taught us how to work very well with Zoom, and it's really given us a lot more opportunities as well. Our cafe is just as important as our cinema hall. We believe that movies have to be paired with great drinks and coffee, so we work well with high-quality local businesses, and we often create special drinks to match the films that we screen to add to the overall experience. And we have 3 main film festivals which take place in our cinema every year, and that's Scandi, focusing on Scandinavian films, B2 Cannes, which is a selection of films from Berlinale, Venice, and Cannes, and Alkmaar, which is our new festival, which we started last year. We also host a number of other popular film festivals in the Czech Republic as well. Alkmaar is our newest festival, focusing on films from the Middle East and North Africa, which was born on the night of the blue supermoon last year, so it's very, very fresh. We usually have a mix of contemporary films and classic films with discussions and other cultural activities in the cinema and cafe. A big part of Alkmaar is our moonlight markets, which happens on the steps outside the cinema cafe every evening at the festival. We collaborate with local businesses, originally from places like Iran, Syria, Jordan, Iraq, and more, to sell delicious food and gifts. So originally we started with just regular programming in our cinema, but after creating a film night for foreigners every Monday, everything with Czech and English subtitles, we found that foreigners in Prague generally had a great appetite for films like this that were English friendly, and they've since become one of our most popular groups that often visit our cinema. We soon found that events were the way forward, so we decided to create more diverse film nights, for example, a feminist film night, a Czech film night, and more. We also host sip and paint nights, where we screen a film about an artist and people also get to paint and drink wine in our cafe before the screening.
For the last 2 years, our distribution company has invested in silence films, which we screening about once a month with live music. All the screenings are always sold out and people love the experience. After a while, we decide to take a step further and organize a festival for the silence film. And that was a Silence Nights film festival, which focused on German expressionists, silence films like Nosferatu or Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. For 5 days, we screened 12 movies in total and 7 performance screening with the live music. We also host a director retrospective mini festivals focusing on classic director like Bergman or Jodorowsky. We also recently had one of the Ken Loach, where we partner with the book publisher or Zychovec Brewery. We also collaboration and partner with the film institutes like the FAMU Film School to hold special event screening and masterclass with filmmakers like Bruno Dumont, Tsai Ming Liang or Bellatar. We also have students from the FAMU on our festival juries.
We also love a good party attached to a screening. For Barbie, we had a drag show after party. Recently, we also had a screening of Scott Pilgrim versus the World with a party, a video game in the cinema, and live tattooing. Over 30 people left with tattoos. I'm not sure how they felt in the morning, but we got several of them, so we can show you afterwards.
We are also upcycling our film banners to make merchandise, including backpacks, laptop bags, wallet, by made Teresina, designer in Zlín. The coaster in our cafe are also made from these banners, and we also sell film books on magazine. And t-shirt, we often create a t-shirt of our popular film we distribute as well. And classic like the director retrospective, and our staff also wear some of them in cafe or cinema. And we have like the favorites. And the poster, which are high quality of original design, they sell really well during special events. For example, at our recent Silence Night Festival, we are important for the marketing tool for us, and so on.
And that's all. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you. Your name of your cinema is Edison. If Edison knew how his invention ended up and what cinema is now, he would be really pleased. Next up is Cenk SEZGIN.
Hi, I'm Cenk from Bodrum, Turkey. And this is Bodrum, you see on the picture, where the city where our brand was born. Back then, we were lifeguards and sailors in the water sports. This is the reason why we called our brand as Cinemarine. It was 1994 when we decided to open a cozy spot called Club Marine on the rooftop of a building on Bodrum's Bar Street with a stunning view. The place was total wreck, but we transformed it into something special. We bought a giant screen TV, Dolby Surround, sound system, some seats, and with the audience we thought we have a cinema. You see me in the middle on the picture. We had visitors from with officials from Copyright Office, and we could not make cinema like that, so we had to change our system. And we started on 14th December 1994 with the movie Baby's Day Out on our first single-screen cinema. But we were waiting a lot of time for the customers because they could not find us. We were on the third floor on the building, and which was outside of the city a little bit. Then we decided to go them instead of waiting them in our cinemas. So we moved outdoors and we made lots of different locations, outdoor screenings, and we became very popular, not just in Bodrum, also in Turkish side. So we decided it was time to play a bigger role in Turkish cinema exhibitors' development. We hosted the first meeting, the Turkish cinema exhibitors in Bodrum, and the idea was simple: how can do we it better? After that meeting, CISAI, Turkish Cinema Exhibitors Association, was born. CISAI realized many successful projects, like integration of the VPF to Turkey, government supports to cinemas, etc. But I'm mostly proud of the 1 million students meet with the cinema project. We brought every elementary school student in Turkey to our cinemas early in the mornings. Ministry of Education organized the students, and the Ministry of Culture provided the films and supported the project with €1 per student. We did not make money only, but also we nurtured our future audience. Over 3 years, until the pandemic, we welcomed 3 million students in our cinemas nationwide. On the other hand, it was time to transform our open-air screenings operations into Bodrum Turkish Film Week. This was not only a festival or competition. The aim was to penetrate cinema into our lives in every possible way. We placed our white screens wherever it's possible. This historical castle of Bodrum, beaches, mega yachts, city squares, streets, hills, valleys, and they all became our cinemas. This year, we held the 12th Turkish Film Week on 2 continents simultaneously, in Bodrum, which is Asia, and beautiful, welcoming city of Greek island Kos, which is Europe. We host many Turkish film industry professionals and artists in both continents. As you see on the left below picture, this year we also announced to transform Bodrum Turkish Film Week into BIF, Bodrum International Film Festival, in October 2025, with very exceptional and unique setup. Sadly, over the years, we have had to say goodbye to some legends of Turkish cinema. We had the honor of hosting them in Bodrum. Our greatest fortune was sharing moments with them and being able to show our love and respect in person. We also began attending international events and hosting some of them in Turkey, like the ECM, Emerging Cinema Market Summit, Istanbul, in 2018 and 19, which was unfortunately interrupted by the pandemic. Meanwhile, Cinemarine expanded beyond Bodrum into other parts of Turkey. The green dots are still operating ones. The other colors we had to close due to earthquakes, pandemic, or economic crisis. Even under these conditions, we made Cinemarine onto the Europa's 50 Giants of Exhibition list. I personally designed and managed the construction of all of our cinemas, which makes it easier for us to create and implement innovative ideas. These are 3 cinemas from different cities of ours. For example, we developed a separated area logic to prevent stressful ticket queues, which are now used which we use in all of our venues. We also have our own designed recliners in all of our theaters, which you will see after the next slide. We wanted to give a message with our glamorous box offices. The reason you are here is not just to watch a movie, but to join the special experience. When we see our guests taking selfies in front of them, we see the message has been taken. As you can see from these photos, 30 years of tears and laughter may have matured us a bit, but we have never forgotten where we came from, and that our priority is to add value not just to ourselves only, but also to the community around us. I'm proud to be part of this wonderful organization in Vilnius and a member of Europa Cinemas Network. Thank you.
Well, I think that you found a perfect formula for solving the problems with staff. You just did it everything yourself. I probably don't recommend it. The next one is Hrönn SVEINSDÓTTIR, but please, for the next presenter, get ready with the...
Hi, my name is Hrönn. I run the only Arthouse cinema in Iceland, home of 370,000 people. It was founded when the last cinema downtown Reykjavik was closing down in 2010, and the guilds of filmmakers in the country took it over to start a non-profit called Paradis. Paradis does everything that the commercial cinemas in Iceland don't do. We screen classics, art house films, documentaries and shorts, host many festivals, countless film events, and we offer a very ambitious film literacy program for children and young people. But I'm not here to talk about that. I want to talk about our marketing. As you can see, we are really good at it. This is the first ad we made for the cinema. But how do you start an audience from scratch doing something that hasn't really been part of the cultural landscape before? And one of our first challenges was screening classics. Nobody came to see them. And as you know, the license is very expensive. So we started having local artists make new posters for each film we were screening and releasing it on social media. And that got people to our classic screenings. So now we have hundreds of posters and we have a gallery full of posters. Here are some of my favorites. There is, oh, the timing. There's an oil painting there by one of the most famous contemporary artists of Iceland. But the image on the left, if you look closely, the image behind is our Prime Minister and the chairman of the Conservative Party in Iceland. We really like to repackage films like they are romantic comedies, and we have a lot of fun with this. But we are also distributors, and what we do mostly is creative marketing. If we're always talking to people who care about films, we're just talking to the same 5 people over and over again. We're so few. So we found ourselves doing a lot of stunts with our films, like having a sauna outside the cinema when we launched Smoke Sauna Sisterhood. And everybody had a sauna before the film. It was great. And I want to tell you about some of my favorite campaigns this fall. We've been having so much fun. We had the Swedish documentary called The Gullspang Miracle. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's about religious people and supernatural things, and we didn't know what to do about it, so we did this play. But then we started doing videos with our staff. You know, everybody has these stories about something spooky going on in the cinema. There's like a dead person in room 2, and everybody seemed to have like a story like that, so we could sort of make these videos that made people think that our cinema was really haunted. But the real turn came when we hired a psychic who was really seriously interested in exploring all the spirits and talking to dead people in our cinema. And she started making videos, this woman. We found her on the internet. And she started talking to people and finding all sorts of things and doing live broadcasts from the cinema. And everybody was watching this. So when we finally premiered this Swedish documentary, she had a live seance. So that was like a part of the premiere was the seance, and it was sold out. But when you're working with dead people, you give them a platform, and and all they want to talk about are like cake recipes and where they left their car keys. Really, that was the only thing they had to say. But everybody loved it, and everybody saw this Swedish film that they would have not have seen without this. The biggest seller for us has been Lovable, and it has such a strong word of mouth, and we even got some therapists to prescribe it to their clients. So the headline became like, your doctor wants you to see this film, and it's the first film ever prescribed by a doctor in Iceland. But speaking of doctors, when we first premiered The Substance, somebody fainted and another person got a seizure and started vomiting over everyone, and it was a really immersive experience. And my PR person was like, don't talk about this ever to anyone, but we just couldn't resist. So we had to talk to the media, and I was like really worried about this, saying like, don't come see this film. We have vomit bags, we have paramedics on standby because you really shouldn't if you're vulnerable. And of course it was sold out every screening after that. Everybody wanted to see it. But this was like mass hysteria. I swear, we've called like 10 ambulances. It caused a big discussion about all the films that used to be dangerous. You shouldn't see them, all the films that were banned, all the films that made you never want to go see a film again. So it was great. It was like going back to the 70s. We had a dog screening the other day, but then this really famous cat went missing. And I love living in a country where cats are famous and they dominate the news. And we have national elections today, but everybody's like, no, I want to know what's going on with the cat. So we have a cat cinema tomorrow. It's watching Flow with us if you want to meet this cat. And it has been found again. So this is also like something that has dominated the news. This is our share in the national box office. This is us as distributors, so it doesn't really reflect. But the sad thing is that the commercial cinemas have been declining and they have been closing, but we are actually growing after COVID. We started a new series this fall, which we call an evening with a filmmaker. We have here Dag Johan Høgerud, who made Sex, and it's not like a typical Q&A. It's like, what is your first film memory? Why do you like film? Why do you make film? And why do you make films like this? That's a good question for this man. We had this event with Trine Dyrholm last month, and everybody really got to know her. And I just booked a ticket for Naomi Merlant to come for the premiere of the Balkanettes in January, and we will ask her very personal questions. So this is what we do, and I think this is why we are thriving and the commercial cinemas are not, because you know, you all know, we've been talking about it all day, but people don't laugh anymore when I tell them Paradis is one day going to become the most popular cinema in Iceland. They used to.
And they say nothing new can be done. Just rest my case, please. The next one, Juergen Lutz. Please use the... He's going to be speaking.
Ja, schönen guten Tag zusammen. Mein Name ist Juergen Lutz. Ich wollte diesen Vortrag eigentlich nicht halten. Ich hatte ihn schon abgesagt.
Good evening. My name is Juergen Lutz. I didn't want to make this presentation, but Fatima didn't take no for an answer. So I'd like to talk about what I have on my mobile computer here. Our cinema is a building that dates from 1954. It was built during the war, and then it was rebuilt afterwards. Obviously, we're not the ones who rebuilt it. In 2002, we bought it. And since 2004, we have been members of Europa Cinema. In fact, we have a huge room with 370 seats. And in 2008, we had to divide this room into two because it was too big. So now we have two rooms, one with 220 seats and the other with 90 seats. I'll show you this a bit later on in more detail. There you are. You can see this room. It's a square room. There are 90 seats. You can talk with the public without using a microphone. And I think it's a wonderful experience. I really do enjoy moderating evenings in this room. Our cinema is a neighborhood cinema. It's located in a neighborhood called the SVEINSDÓTTIR. You can see Martin Rolli in this picture, who organizes everything. In Köln, there are 1 million inhabitants and 7 Arthouse cinemas, of which ours. And since we have been working with Cineville together, we have started to talk together. We have a bar, and it's a real asset when organizing events. When we have a lot of guests, say 200 people in the big room, this enables us to hold a party later on in the bar area. Here, we have a small event with 70 people, and they don't always remain after the screening, of course. Here's another photo. The posters, that's something that's very important for me. I wanted to show you all these assets we have. You talked earlier on about haiku. That's what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to present a haiku. Once a year, we organize a children's festival. It's not our festival. We are paid, and the festival uses our cinema and creates a lot of mess, but it's wonderful. They use a green screen, and they use it in order to be extremely creative. When we turned 20, we thought we should do something special. Hence, we decided to show excerpts from the 140 films that worked the best in our cinema, and that's exactly what we did. It was very funny. what was chosen was the Brand New Testament by Jacques van Darmil, and the children chose a different film. In principle, we organize about 90 screenings with filmmakers and guests and actors per year. Here you have a few examples. You have Suleiman and Charlie Hübner. Since 2022, we realized we had to change something. That is why we started to work with Cineville. We reached an agreement with colleagues in Freiburg, Hamburg, and other German cities in order to create a German Cineville. To start with, we had 45,000 admissions, but that wasn't sufficient. Hence, we divided the big room into two. And as of 2008, when we divided the room into two, we started bit by bit to rise up to the figure of 80,000, 90,000 spectators a year. Here we have the concept of Maus de Tiot, the film Falling Leaves by Aki Kaurismäki. This musical group accompanied the screening. During the pandemic and the lockdown, we realized that we could remain in contact with our customers through the social media and via our shop window, so to speak. We organized a kind of draw, and then we published a certain number of quotes. When it became possible once again, people came with videos which we showed on our big screen. And here are some of the quotes which help people to win this possibility to screen their films. And then the war broke out, and we showed great solidarity with Ukraine. We did that for 3 months, and then we continued on with our normal activities. We have a wonderful audience. These two pictures shows that we have a large number of spectators, and I would also like to thank all the members of our team. And thank you to Europa Cinemas, and that's all from me.
Thank you. Was it really that bad? We don't think so. We would miss your story. Next one is Sigrid BUTLERS. Last one.
Okay, so hello, I'm Sigrid from Tartu, Estonia, and I'm going to show you a lot of Totoro and also an elephant. So, Elektriteater came into existence as a fun hobby to do with a group of friends in 2011, when a team of 3 started screening films in various places in the city of Tartu. At the moment, our screening hall is located in the historic university church on the 3rd floor. So after you buy a ticket, you have to climb a breathtaking, and I mean literally, staircase to reach the actual cinema. In the beginning, we shared rooms with a performing arts theatre and almost found our place in a historic building, but at the last minute were kicked out by a Christian basic school. So now we share the building with a storage facility for university archives. Since our current building has been rebuilt several times and for multiple purposes, we had to be resourceful and crafty to make it into a cinema-worthy space. But there's nothing armchairs, cute lighting, Totoro, and friendly people couldn't amp up. We have a 120-seat screening hall with state-of-the-art equipment, and we screen films at least twice a day, 7 days a week, plus have school screenings and various events. And yes, we desperately need more room. So this is the screening hall, and it has people in it. I noticed that most of you like to show halls without people. In summer, we operate a mobile outdoor cinema and have pop-up screenings all over Estonia, including drive-in cinema or location-specific outdoor screenings. The most profitable part of our business, by the way. Our program has a lot of variety, like all Arthouse cinemas. It mainly consists of Estonian and European feature films, documentaries, animations, short films, and Arthouse classics. In addition to our main program, we regularly have special screenings and retrospectives. And now, since I started working there, regular family screenings on Sundays. We keep tightly to the tradition that before every screening, there is a short introduction about the film by the projectionist. Depending on how excited the specific projectionist is about the specific film, they can last from a few minutes to, let's say, a bit longer. The most popular events at the cinema are definitely the moderated, cozy conversations after screenings. Filmmakers come and for about an hour introduce their films, speak about their sources of inspiration, and talk to the audience. These events are almost always sold out in advance. As if hosting filmmakers isn't enough, we are also the place and space for many festivals, Black Nights Film Festival, of course, but also smaller but just as important ones like Tartuf, Festhart, Fashion Film Festival, Hungarian Film Nights, Ukrainian Film Club, to name just a few. In 2022, Elektriteater started its educational program, Kino, by hiring me. We run school screenings almost every weekday, except September, and have developed an array of workshops ranging from simple stop motion to voicing classic film clips. And every summer, we have a very popular 3-day cartoon camps for children between the ages of 7 to 12. When it comes to young audiences and school screenings, they run pretty much like our main program. The idea behind it is that you should treat children and teens with just as much respect as you do adults. So not a single school screening starts without an introduction. We have also extended our Meet the Filmmakers idea to young audiences and believe that if a film has been made for children, they should be the ones to give their perspective on it. So these events are moderated by children. Every now and then, an idea for a special event or mini festival for children comes along, and when it's a particularly good one, it will be part of cinema program. For example, the Moomins made a comeback, which was worth a celebration, or our local librarians, and everybody seems to love animals a lot here, turned into pink rats. Currently, there are about 8 full-time employees working at cinema. In the evenings, projectionists take over, and all this cinema magic would not be possible without the people. Who else would come up with unique and super fun marketing ideas, like turning into Barbenheimer or organizing a sauna session like Icelandic people did when Anna Hintz mentions it, or hosting an actual party with real cardboard elephant, there you go, during the screening of the party. And if no one else can help, then maybe you can hire the A-team, and we will also act in minor roles in period dramas. If all else fails, then there is food to lighten the mood during a screening. No, we do not have any popcorn, but we have had haute cuisine accompanied by a cool food film. And if that does not work either, then you definitely need to lay down some real lawn, cook noodles, and invite a life-size Totoro for the screening of My Neighbor Totoro. Or try with live music and silent film. That should do the trick for all audiences, young and old. Whatever it takes, guys. Improvise, dare to fail. Being perfect is boring.
Thank you. That was really a perfect ending. And maybe we will switch in Kinodvor from massage to sauna. It seems to be a trend. So it's something to think about. Thank you, everybody. That was it. I think that they deserve another round of applause for their stories. Thank you.